Welcome to another edition of Wings Weekly. Jay Kleinknecht here, along with, of course, head coach Scott Langer. Coach, a lot to talk about over the weekend, the home regular opener. Let's go game by game if we can. For a 4-1 win Friday night, you wanted to get out to an early start, a strong early start, and I'd say that happened. I mean, you score first, but St. Cloud had a pretty strong first period. After that, it seemed like you guys kind of tipped the ice a little bit. What were your thoughts as a coaching staff?
Yeah, I thought, our guys came out. Obviously, they were super excited to get the season started playing at home. So there was some jitters, and you could see it in our game in the first period, even though, Manti popped one in there, which was really big for us.
Mm-hmm.
But, it was a little sloppy in the first period. But as we went on throughout the entire weekend, I felt like each period we progressed in certain areas that you wanted to see as a coaching staff. So I was happy with it. And I get the outcome was big, but the way our guys progressed, and there was times during those games that our guys really could have took shifts off.
Yeah.
And they didn't, and I think that was a big deal.
Well, and that transitions well into Saturday, because a dominating 10-0 win on just, it seemed like everything was clicking. And as you mentioned, it was something that I kind of talked about during the broadcast too, that, the guys just 100% energy all the time. I never once saw anybody lay off a hit or anything. And you've got some real energy guys. And Yee and Mann and some of these guys that they kind of stood out to me. Of course, Schneider we've talked about. But not much to not like from Saturday's game.
Well, especially when you're up 2-0 and 27 seconds into the first period.
Yeah.
That's just a great start, and I owe it to the guys in the room. They're the leaders in the room to have those guys ready to go out there and get that kind of start. And when you get that type of momentum right out of the gates, you feel really good. And I think that our guys really just never let off the gas in that game. And again, another easy game just to kind of just get through it at some point. But I think we played from buzzer to buzzer, and I think we only gave up actual 11 shots in the game. So that was more impressive to me than the offensive output.
Well, a couple of things there. One, you mentioned it, 2 goals inside of 29 seconds, something like that, 14 seconds, and then 15 seconds later, another one's in the back of the net. And then to start the second period, 7 seconds in, Matsui scores. What do you attribute those? Are you catching them on their heels a little bit, or is it just an energy thing? I'm shocked to see goals scored that quickly in that game.
Yeah, it's the goal coming out of the second period. It was obviously a design play. Coach Hill put a play in place, and it worked out. But again, I think that instead of just letting the guys sit during a game like that in the locker room and become complacent, I thought we did what we needed to do. We went right back to coaching, right back to teaching, and there was a lot of good things being said with our leadership group. And we know that the second period has to be better for us all the time. It's just been one of those things. So, and our guys jumped on it right away, and they executed a play and got ourselves going again.
Well, and you mentioned it, the second period I should say, an Achilles heel a little bit, but some strong second periods over the weekend. Another thing that you mentioned, shots on goal, 45-17 Friday, 50-12, or as you mentioned, 11 actual shots on goal on Saturday. So, a 95-28 difference. That's amazing. What do you? How do you explain that?
Well, we have a group of guys here that are really good possessing the puck, and they bought into our transition hockey game right away. Where, in the last couple of years, we had a good transition hockey team. It just took a little more time to put it in place. This group kind of jumped on it right away and bought into it, and. As soon as teams turn pucks over, they like to attack. And, this team that we played against this weekend, we forced them to turn pucks over quite a bit, and we re-attacked. And when you have that mentality and things are clicking, you're going to put up a lot of quality shots and get a lot of quality scoring chances.
Well, and I'm glad you mentioned that too, because they were, in many cases, in almost all cases, very good quality chances. Transition is something we talked about in weeks past. It's something that has looked very good. But that seems to be kind of common of your teams, and something that that is important to you. Another thing that I think it seems to be kind of common is balanced scoring. We're seeing scoring from all different lines throughout and different players. You're not leaning heavily on one guy or another. That's got a lot to do about who you're bringing into the locker room, doesn't it?
Yeah. You know, when you have balanced scoring and balanced lines throughout your lineup, it makes your job as a coach a lot easier. And we got guys playing in a lot of different roles, even new guys to the program are playing in a lot of roles, and we're capable up and down our lineup. Now, there's still some guys that didn't make the lineup this weekend that are very, very good hockey players. So, you know, there's a pretty good competition going on right now within our room to make the lineup. And, you know, it's going to be another week of competition headed into the series against a very good Bismarck team.
Going back to, I guess, a little bit to backtracking a little bit to the shots on goal, a lot of blocked shots too, and I know that's something that you like. But I saw guys, even getting in front of slap shots from the point and just taking them right in the body. That would probably be a part of the reason that they're seeing so few chances too, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's exciting hockey when guys are blocking shots and attacking nets and getting to the tough areas of the ice. All that stuff you kind of praise your guys for, and you're constantly harping on that stuff, because as soon as you get away from it, you have bad results. So a lot of those small things that the average person won't see, those are really good things right now for us, and those are things that we're going to show throughout the week, that the good part of our game, that if we continue that, we're going to have success during the course of this hockey season. So really happy with some of that.
Another thing I picked up on a little bit is talking about all four lines scoring, defensemen scoring. How much, when you're looking at defensemen and who you're bringing back or who you're bringing in, are you looking for offensive-minded defensemen?
Well, it's not so much you're looking for offensive-minded defensemen. You're looking at a five-man attack every time you're on the ice. So when you have the puck, it's a five-man group trying to score, and when you don't have the puck, it's five men working to shut the opposition down. So we encourage our defensemen to be involved in the offense. When we do have possession of the puck, that they're putting themselves in a position, because teams really like to clog the middle of the ice. So you have to have that fourth line of attack with your defensemen in order to be successful offensively.
Well, sure seems to be working. I had a chance to talk with Jack Powell and Brad Belisle a little bit. It surprised me a little bit Friday night. It was nice to see them, but I actually had them on the air on Saturday. And Jack actually mentioned to me that he was recognizing some of the looks and some of the plays and stuff, and he credited the coaching staff and scouts for putting the right guys in the right spots and making it easier for them to be successful. How true is that?
Well, it's certainly something you try to do as a coach. You try to put them in positions to be successful and not fail, and different players have different things to their game that are their best part. So you really try to put them in positions to be successful, and that's the tough part of coaching.
Yeah.
You spend a lot of time as a coach and as a staff trying to figure out where guys would go to best suit your lineup, to best suit the logo, and also to really suit the player so he's happy. If you don't have happy players, you have a miserable locker room and you don't have success, and it goes against the culture we have here. So Jack's right. Jack was part of the process. Obviously, Brad came in. He was one of those free agents that came in and had a ton of success, and it was awesome to see those two guys in the building wearing their ring. And obviously, they came in and we had some good chats. But that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Those kids said they had practice at 2:00 and then said, you know what, we're going. We're going. And those are the players that we have here in this organization, and that tells you what kind of franchise that the Odie family has built here. That guys can't get enough of it, and they want to come back, and they want to see it, and it's awesome to get those guys back in the building.
It's funny that you say that, because I actually brought that up Saturday, because they both told me the same thing, that they were hustling to get here, and there was no doubt they were going to come and spend the weekend home opener and here at the Odie, and both of them told me that they'll be back pretty frequently, because then they're lucky to be playing, of course, at Bemidji State, and that's not all that far away. And both of them went on and on about the people and the memories that they have, and just the whole experience that they had coming through. And of course, national championship doesn't hurt, and I mentioned that is a huge part of junior hockey, that it's so cool to see these guys come back and with such positive memories and such a positive experience. So I'm glad you mentioned that, because they mentioned that to me too, and I thought it was pretty important. Specialty teams, power play was 36%, 4 power play goals on the weekend, and penalty kill was 100%. Discipline, we talked about that, only committed 4 penalties over the weekend, and there was a lot of stuff going on Saturday night late, especially as they got frustrated. But you got to feel pretty good about the way specialty teams is headed too.
Yeah, I like the way we're executing in both those areas, and we're doing some real good things on the power play. And obviously, every team you play, you need a different scheme, because they all tend to kill penalties in different ways. So Coach Hill's doing a great job with the power play, and those guys that are being tasked with getting on there and getting things done are certainly doing that. And the penalty kill is always going to be a work in progress. We obviously have a lot of pride in that area. We have for a long time, and we want to be in the top of the league in that category. So our guys are doing a good job, and like you said, they're not taking a lot of penalties. And usually early in a season, you see a lot of penalties. You see a lot of undisciplined play. But we also have guys like Yee and Mann and those guys that really bring a tremendous amount of, I would say, hockey toughness to our lineup that we might not have had in the years past. Like, those guys are really willing to step in there and make sure that things get settled down really quick. And I like the look of our lineup, that's for sure.
Definitely something I noticed there too. And a couple of times I saw Walker with a big grin on his face, giving someone a shove away from one of his teammates or whatever. You got to have that grit and that sandpaper kind of player sometimes, as they call it. I'll tell you what, we're going to take a quick break. We'll hear from one of our sponsors, and we'll return with the second portion of Wings Weekly coming up right after this.
Your bird dog deserves a great hunt.
Let's go. Let's hunt some birds.
So do you. This season, hunt in Aberdeen, South Dakota, America's premier pheasant hunting destination. Experience the flush. Experience the rush of wild birds in wild places. Create your hunt of a lifetime this season in Aberdeen, South Dakota.
Welcome back as we continue on with Wings Weekly. Coach, again, a real solid weekend. We talked about specialty teams. We talked about balanced scoring. We talked about just a lot of good things happening this weekend. And I kind of walk away from it. People come up to me all over the place saying, so what's the deal? Are the Wings that good, or are they playing teams that are, that are struggling? And I'm going, honestly, I don't really know yet. Like, they look good, but it's kind of hard to tell because you don't have the sample size, I guess, isn't all that big yet. Did you get a chance to look at any of the film from the Minot-Bismarck as they split over the weekend? Did you get a chance to look at Bismarck at all?
Yeah. Both teams are getting really good goaltending, and they're really, Bismarck's getting a lot of attempted shots. They're playing hard and playing well, and they ran into a pretty hot goaltender in Minot this weekend. But the Bismarck got some guys back from the USHL that they were waiting on their back end, and that certainly improved their hockey team. So, this is going to be a good weekend for us. We need a good week of preparation. We need to have a right mindset coming into Friday night, and we know we're playing a team that we're going to be fighting in the standings with the entire year.
All right. St. Cloud was a bit banged up. I think they had 6 guys listed as hurt, and with this COVID stuff and everything, keeping the team healthy takes on a whole another level. What's the overall health of your locker room?
Typical after a hard-fought weekend. Guys that need to take care of themselves, but, we've got a pretty tough group here, so we'll figure out a way to put a lineup on the ice that's going to compete come Friday.
Of course. Let's see. Wings right now, of course, top of the Central, just the one weekend in with 4 points. Minot has 3 and Bismarck 2 after they went into a shootout on Saturday night. Austin and the Wilderness were idle. Technically, they were playing some exhibition games over the weekend. But that's the way the standings look so far this early on. You mentioned it, Coach, about the week of practice getting ready for a team like Bismarck that's going to be improved. What do you see as some keys? What will you work on this week?
Work. That's simple. It's work. We know when we prepare the right way, this group especially, that when they have a good week of practice, they're good on the weekends. When we're just okay in practice throughout the week, we're just okay on the weekends. And that's how it should be.
Yeah.
So it's Coach Hill and myself, we need to make sure that we're good and we have these guys in the right mindset during practice. And they like to practice, but we just have to make sure it's hard work this week. And it's, you know how hard you have to work against Lane Sedavi's teams. They're a hard-working group, so we need to be prepared when we hit the ice.
The old adage of reap what you sow, I guess, right? The more work you put into it, the better the result. All right, well, of course, this weekend, Friday, October 16th, 7:15 puck drop. You can watch the game at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Aberdeen, or by logging on to hockeytv.com, or listen to 94.1 The Rock, or hubcityradio.com on the website. Of course, again, that's up in Bismarck. Saturday, October 17th versus Bismarck, Aberdeen Convention and Visitors Bureau Rooster Rush Night. Fans are encouraged to wear orange. Doors open at 5:15, 5:15, I believe that is, and the puck drops at 7:15. Get your tickets now at tickets.aberdeenwings.com. And $10 general admission tickets are also on sale now at any of the 4 Sea Express locations in Aberdeen with additional purchase. Corporate night sponsorships are available for the 2020-2021 season. Call Aaron at 605-380-5852 for more information. Again, Coach, a great weekend, and I know a lot of fans showed up and supported the Wings in their opener. Had a great time. Got to see a lot of scoring and a lot of work coming into this week coming up for Bismarck. So thanks for taking some time to talk to us, and best of luck against Bismarck. All right, folks, that'll pretty much wrap up this week's Wings Weekly.